All right, there's always an Achilles tendon to an NBA team. Let's keep it a buck and a half. Not a quarter, a half. The Dallas Mavericks have too many weak spots when it comes to being a contending team with an All NBA top scorer. It's nothing against Luka Doncic because we know Luka Doncic's issues, but there's only so much he can pressure over on the defensive help. And as soon as I hear Jason Kidd being like, "Well, our offense is our defense, and then we'll play defense when we score," no shit. You have playmaking forwards, a spectacular pick and roll center out of Derek Lively. Around the deadline, I thought you had the second best deadline when it comes to picking up on the efficient front court that can shot block, play make, rebound, and facilitate, like Daniel Gafford. This is possibly one of the better teams they had when they had to just keep forcing JJ Barea to play 38 minutes. And JJ Redick. They don't have to push over for Dwight Powell anymore. Maxi Kleber shouldn't be in any efficient type of game. Press over to the small ball. Play make. PJ Washington's a great player. So is Daniel Gafford. They should be trying to get transition out of Tim Hardaway Jr. out of the lineup. I have had critiques, and if you guys weren't on the streams, it's my fault if I couldn't draw enough attention over on that. Tim Hardaway Jr. has been a borderline shot chucker for a majority of his career. And it's nothing against him. That's just been his play style he's been rocking with over being a shot selecting, facilitating guard small forward for majority of his career since his Melo days. 16. 2 points. He's transitioning out of the lineup as we speak. Out of his 60 minutes out of his 26 minutes, it transitioned to 13 minutes. Give that young man Jaden Hardy some minutes, bro. Explosive young player that can shoot, playmaker around the position. Tim Hardaway Jr. hasn't really produced much over the last 4 seasons. I understand he's getting older, but he's still with the same flaws. He's been with declining production since his last couple of days in New York. His shot selection is abysmal. He's declining over from 39% from behind the arc over a staggering 35%. When in the fuck was he ever a facilitating guy? He'll just step out, shot chuck. He'll get times when he's hot, but not Dante Exum hot, where he dropped over 26 around December and he's transitioning back into the lineup. So, when are we ever going to question, like, whatever is stat padding to overline carrying? Because I think around the All-Star break, they had 7 games won over the deadline. And that trailed over not winning a game since February. It's now the 7th, and you guys lose to teams that you trailed over by at least double digits until the 6th outplayed you without their league MVP center. Got choked out and destroyed by 28 against the Boston Celtics in a breakout performance by both Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic and PJ Washington. And the Indiana Pacers, competitive against top seeding teams, but also winnable. And the reason why the Dallas Mavericks are having such an issue is Jason Kidd is just such a terrible defensive coordinating coach for this team. He has no philosophy of the hustle back over on the front, how to drop over into coverage, knowing Kyrie and Luka are defensive liabilities. And just not dropping out. There's backdoor cuts that players are losing about, especially over in that Pacers game. And this is against Rick Carlisle. Jason Kidd coach was getting played under Rick Carlisle and couldn't even sniff out that he likes energetic players that can manage around the floor, just like what Halliburton does with the majority of the team. And this is when Halliburton was going over a drought. They allowed T.J. McConnell to put up a breakout performance. Like, I think he's dropped over 20 off the bench. Poor defensive coverage. They were getting spammed off pull-up jumpers over on transition. They were waltzing around the fourth quarter knowing what was going to happen. It's embarrassing. Kid has been the Achilles heel for why the Mavericks will only move over to a second round exit around with their lineup. Because they got the players, they have the personnel, they have the guy to push them into a contending sweep. And it's just making that major Game 7 comeback against the Suns be a distant memory over contention if they don't find a new head coach around next season. Seeing if the season goes south. Because looking how it is, the Mavericks, in my projection, I thought they were going to win at least 49 games. They're possibly going to be in play-in. They're already in 7th seed. They're over the bare minimal. And they should be better than certain teams in the Western Conference. Way better. Way better than the New Orleans Pelicans. The way the roster and players are constructed. Way better than the Lakers. So this is just ridiculous. And the Mavericks, now an 8th seed, they need different adjustments on how their defense is supposed to be pulled, how their personnel is going to be treated, and Jason Kidd should be really taking critiques to heart that certain guys should be playing and certain guys should not be playing, and some guys should be played more so they can bring over effort to try to stop the offense from scoring. Because it's obvious that you guys don't have a lot of projection on that. Your volume scorer is only 2 people. And your best facilitators. Get guys that can defensively push the floor. If Exum is not starting, he's a lengthy transitioning wing. He came from a starting point guard to now a lengthy wing that can shoot. And has way better defensive philosophy after being in overseas. Take advantage of the experience. I better not see Dwight Powell touching the floor for over 18 fucking minutes. And get more Keith Morris there. Get some grit on that floor. Let him piss players off. Let him try to slow them down. Jason Kidd should know this. He should know players more than the players do themselves. So this is just embarrassing. Hopefully the Mavericks pick this out because I'm rooting for Luka. He's possibly out of the MVP candidacy. If the narrative just doesn't fit itself over to the team trajectory, because we possibly know who's going to take it. If it's not SGA, if it's not Giannis, it's Jokic. Just saying. Tell me how you guys feel in the comment section below. That's it for me. I'm going to eat my cookie.